politics back home. So as the Zimbabwe diaspora, we are relegated to the position where all we can do is to support the processes back home by giving financial contributions or some form of aid to chosen parties with, in mind, democratization of Africa as a narrative, as a central thrust. My question goes to the previous mayor of Pemba under UPND. Greetings to you, Your Worship, former Lord Mayor of Pemba. You have also been on the presidential campaign in Zambia in the Southern Province. I would give you this opportunity, or you just greet the audience at once after I've given you the question. Lord Mayor, what are your experiences as a former mayor and the experiences coming from your party having won the elections this year? How did you mobilize for support in Zambia, especially in rural communities, and how did you convince the rural folk to take your side in this election? And in the case of Zimbabwe, what do you think we may need to do to support our party, the MDC Alliance, as its diaspora structure? And the last part of my question is, was the Zambian diaspora involved in this political process? And if they were, how were they involved? Thank you.
Okay, so Lord Mayor, I have given you the mic to speak. So if you'd like to accept that, and you can speak. Okay, we're just waiting for him to accept. Okay, he could be having problems with his mic, so maybe you might want to talk to Joseph in the meantime while the Lord Mayor gets himself ready.
Joseph, is Joseph live?
Yes, he's here, yeah.
Right. I don't know what I've asked can be interchangeable. Joseph can respond to that because Joseph also comes from UPND and he is quite senior member, almost the same as the Lord Mayor used to occupy previously. So, Joseph, I pass over those questions to you. If you want me to repeat, it is my pleasure.
Okay, Joseph, you need to unmute yourself and you can speak because you're on as a speaker now. Brilliant. Okay, so it looks like he's connecting. Looks like he's dropped off. So it's going to be one of those evenings where, you know, we have our speakers having challenges to be able to speak. So please do bear with us. That's one of those things that happens on these platforms. Okay. So we've got someone who can go ahead and speak. And can you share ideas about what you think the diaspora can do in order to support, drive the change that we need, and also in order to galvanize the diaspora to support the election outcome in 2023. So go ahead, speaker. Please remove your mic and speak. Thank you.
Is that me?
Yeah, is that you, please, and introduce yourself for the benefit of the listeners.
Thank you very much, my sister. My name is Obet Musa. Calling in from Derby, UK, West Midlands. I'll be here for a short time, so I'll just say all that I think, just a framework of what I think us as diasporans can do. First and foremost, I noticed we've got lots of branches across our territory, like UK. We've got in every area that we've got a branch, which is good. And also we've got other territories abroad, like we've got the North American, Canada, everywhere. My thinking, my strategy would be to have a global database of all diasporans who support the movement. Thereby, we can have a centralized communication system where we would have a mail list where we can receive updates, we can receive promotions and appeals for donations. As it is, we are fragmented, and therefore it's difficult to know what the other guys are doing or what exactly is our purpose. But I think if we have a database of such like-minded people, then it's easy to coordinate each other and say, look, this coming election cycle, this is what we want to achieve, and this is as much as we want to do. And in that is, if we can get a good number of people, let's say in the diaspora worldwide, including Europe, America, Asia, Africa, some of our brothers who are diaspora in the neighboring countries, if we can have, let's say for argument's sake, 100,000 people whom we connect with on a monthly basis or on a regular basis, and we have a pact to say contribute $2 or $3 each, say for argument's sake. If we have 300,000 and we all if we have 100,000 people and we all say we're giving $3 towards the election cycle, that means every month we're generating at least 100,000 or 300,000 US dollars, which would go a long way in order to fund whatever activities that we may have. It may be electoral education, it may be the important agents that we need to put in place, but it has to be a kind of a joint effort, because if there is 500 of us or 20 of us here in Derby, and we look at each other and think, if I give $20 or $100, what is it going to do? But if we have got a united body across and we've got one voice, then that might help. Then also the other thing is about, the way our system back home is designed. It's designed for like for, especially in the underdeveloped areas or marginalized communities, people depend on handouts, and you find the ruling party uses that as a way of capturing votes. So people will depend on the ruling party for maize seed, for fertilizer, for whatever. And I think as diaspora, if we extend some developmental projects to such areas, so that people, because I know we've complained that it's vote buying, it's this, but ZANU-PF sticks to that game where they kind of cement their support by making sure they play the benefactor. So I think if we do community projects in marginalized communities, such as we've had a few from the Citizens Initiative, where they've built schools and they've provided health equipment and stuff like that, I think that will if we do it in a different way, where our focus is on developing, improving lives, rather than just giving token gifts like fertilizer or seed, I think then we can then infiltrate those areas. While we do that, we then provide our education, and to say, this is the direction we want to take. If you follow us, this is what we'll do. But I think we can match that if we, as a group of diasporans, say, okay, let's say we look at Matabeleland. What are the areas that we need in Matabeleland in order to cement our presence there? So if it's schools, then we say, okay, Matabeleland has maybe 3 areas: north, Matabeleland south, Matabeleland whatever, I think it's west and south. And then we identify projects in those areas that we need. So for schools, the children in Matabeleland are always getting low grades, maybe because the facilities are not up to standard. So if we were to go into Matabeleland and say, we are camping here, we're going to improve facilities, we're going to improve clinics, that kind of thing, we would probably, as diasporans, will probably help. While we help our people, it also helps our movement or our party to maintain a meaningful presence in those areas. I think for now, that's what I think as diasporans we can do. Just to summarize, let's have a collective database where we know how many of our people in the diaspora are with us, and then we group together. We come up with a plan, whether it's $2 a month or $2 at a time, whether it's a one-off or a recurring, but that would actually help us to focus. And I think the last thing I might want to say is about when the election time comes. We've got our brothers and sisters in Zambia, South Africa, Malawi, Botswana. If all of those brothers and sisters were to, on election day, if we were to get, say, let's say 100 buses coming out of those diasporans, I think as an optics, it would help to motivate people, because they would know that our brothers and sisters are in for this. So if voter apathy or people might say, okay, if they are coming from South Africa to vote in these numbers, I should also go and vote. So I think on a motivational basis, we might have to look at, let's have our people in the neighboring diaspora register to vote. If they need support with funds to move from wherever they are, let's do that, especially for those of us who are far away. For optics, that will be very helpful, because if you find the borders clogged with people coming in to vote, that will encourage those that in the country who might think voting is not very meaningful. And they will say, if they are coming all the way from Cape Town to vote, why shouldn't I just walk to Glenview and vote as well? So that's a few things that I think as diasporans we can work out and maybe look into putting into place, so that we can support change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Obed, for those really helpful suggestions. And we are in contact, so we are going to continue the conversations, particularly around the database. I think that's critical. And also I understand that some of the individuals that will be on that database or have an interest to be added onto that database are supporters and not necessarily members of the party. And all of that is okay. Different people want to do different things. So we are open to being inclusive and working with people from different angles. So thank you so much for your contribution. I'm just going to hand over to Lovemore so he can continue his questions with Joseph. And there are speakers that are already lining up. My apologies in advance. There might be a little bit of wait before we come to you. Thank you.
I see the mayor seems to be live. Hi, Mayor, can you hear me? Could you please give the mayor the microphone, Patricia? Hello, Joseph. Can you hear me, please?
Confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Joseph. Do you want me to start afresh the question, or you understood what I asked?
Yeah, if you can repeat the question, that would be great.
Right. I'll just go straight into the questions. My question was, what are your experiences as the youth leader in a winning party in Zambia's recent elections? How did you mobilize for support for your party, especially in rural communities? And how did you convince the people therein to be on your side in the elections? And in the case of our country, Zimbabwe, we're seeking advice here. What do you think we may need to do so that the fortunes, your fortunes, can also translate to be ours? The last part of my question is, was the Zambian diaspora involved in the past electoral process, this one, the recent one? And if they were involved, how were they involved? And how did your party harness their involvement? Thank you.
First of all, before I speak, I appreciate when one question is asked at the same time, because sometimes I do tend to forget. But in any case, when we engage in spaces like this, we find that there's some people that just come to spy, and they just try to take what is being spoken, and then they begin to take it in their own ways. But to answer the question, what we did is that we were very categorical in what we were doing. To say we knew that the masses of our people, particularly in the villages, they didn't understand what was happening. People that are uneducated, it's very difficult to convince them, because you can just give them a small gift today and then tomorrow they vote for you. So it becomes difficult for them to vote on the basis that they must use their critical analysis of things before voting. So we understood that problem, and therefore we went to them to say, even if somebody comes to you today to give you a gift, remember how long you've been suffering all this while. So we went directly to those villages, to the communities, because we understood people in Lusaka are different. Those people in the cities in Lusaka, on the Copper Belt, they're educated people. They understand it. They see things on social media. So we had to go to those villages, convince them, understand that we know their struggles, and that no one should be able to come and hoodwink them into voting. They don't visit them until after 5 years. So we made them understand, village to village, community to community, older people, young people in the villages, so long as they're eligible to vote, we spoke to them. We slept in their communities, in their villages. We're even eating. Some of us were going around the country eating. I ate a rat for the very first time in my life, because I wanted to understand the struggles that the people in the villages were going through. And we were speaking to them, listening to their conversations, bonfire conversations, leaving the comfort of electricity in the city to go and make them understand that this election was very important. And it was not just the election of our political party, the United Party for National Development. It was about the masses of our people against the regime that we wanted to remove, which was the Patriotic Front. So we made them understand. And then after that, we came now to the city to door, because, it was COVID-19, and so these rallies were being cancelled. So we were going around now in the cities after making sure that we've done damage control and did everything we could in the villages. We came to the city now to continue mobilizing. After that, we came on social media and spaces like this to talk to the people, particularly the young people that went out to vote in their masses, to convince them why it was important that they must vote. And we went on Facebook, held live conversations. We created as many WhatsApp groups. We are sending a lot of messages because we wanted people to understand. Even when they tell us to say we've already seen this message, we continue bombarding them with these messages, so that they understand that the struggle we are fighting against was not just ours alone. And we are very proud that at the end, they heeded the call and they went to vote. When it came to the issues of people in the diaspora, the Zambians that came to register and then they went back to their countries, to the UK, they went to South Africa, and after that, during the time for voting, they returned. But then there are those people that are in the diaspora that did not come to register to vote. But what we're proud of is the fact that even when they did not come to vote, we are sending money to say, those people that cannot afford to go to the polling station, this is $30 US. You people in the UPND, young people, can you be able to mobilize those guys so that they can go and vote? So it wasn't just their physical presence. They were also providing financial means to say, okay, I'm contributing. This is the only dollar that I have, $30 get. Sent to a lot of young people that cannot be able to have transport to go and vote. And they went out to vote. And even when it came to the date of voting, there are people that were saying, no, we don't have transport. Ordinary Zambians were saying, I'm putting forward 3,000 Zambian kwacha. I want to send to every young person that complains that they don't have transport. And, we understood that the election was very important and we needed to remove the former ruling party. And the diaspora played a very critical role in ensuring that we remove those guys. But now, young people have got expectations, and now we're beginning to meet those expectations and ensuring that we fulfill the promises that we made. Unless I forgot any other question, please remind me. But I thought that is the response that I can give.
Well, that's inspirational. You did touch every part of the questions that I've asked, and I'm glad for your response. And I think it energizes Zimbabweans, the youth listening into this space. Some of the issues you have raised, things you have raised, like going to eat rats with them, sit with them. I mean, it's important to understand people's feelings from their point of view. And you can never understand people from their point of view if you are so removed from their reality. And thank you very much, Joseph. I hand over to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Joseph. That was so inspirational. And now there's a demography. So, you have university students, and then you have those in secondary school. How did you convince those groups to participate? Did you do these things in a very subtle way so that people didn't know about it, but you were influencing them to enable them to go out and vote? Because I see that there could be some apathy amongst that group in Zimbabwe. How do we motivate them?
Hear the question. Can you be able to repeat it?
Yes. So how did you motivate the students? So, those in secondary school and in the universities.
But I seem you keep on cutting. So I don't know if it's my Zambian network or it's yours.
I'll repeat again. How did you motivate? I hope you can hear me now. How did you motivate the students? So, the secondary school and the university students to participate in the election process?
Ones are intellectuals, so we were going to them through social media. And during that period of the election, some of them, they had their schools closed, and because of COVID-19, there was a closure of universities and public institutions. In social media, because they're young people and they understand. We knew that if we were to win this election, and if we were to convince the young people, we needed to go where they're found, and they're found here on social media. So we came on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We were everywhere because we knew that the change that we needed was never going to happen easily. They're found on social media. We are coming here to host spaces, to talk to them, to say, listen, your school, that Copper Belt University was closed for 6 months. The person who closed it is standing on the ticket of the ruling party. The person wants to become vice president. Don't make a mistake of voting for that person. Vote for us because we believe we've got a better alternative. So we're coming on social media to engage them wherever they were. After social media, we go on to the ground to meet them face to face, to let them understand why it was important that they voted. But most of those young people, we mobilize them through social media.
Thank you very much for that. I think that's really important.
But
that
we know in the villages that got access to Facebook, that got access to.
Okay, I think Joseph is gone a bit. I can't see his mic. But I was just saying, thank you so much for that. I think that's very important because I think they were the group that they played a real part in the success of Zambia. and it's something that we need to be focusing on. I noticed that one of our speakers from Zambia, Luke Banda, MDCA Zambia, has dropped off the call. He was due to speak, and I can see that other speakers are dropping off as well. So we have Big Smooch. I will try and give you the mic or request the mic, and I can get you to speak. But I'm going to ask JT to ask a question or to share your comments. If you can unmute yourself, please, JT.
Well, thank you for allowing me to speak. I only got 3 points that I need to contribute. The first one is regarding point of conduct in terms of the Diaspora MDCA Alliance, because we've got MDC Alliance UK, Ireland, and various America. But I think what sort of lacking is, we haven't really gone into who people can contact in terms of funds mobilization, because I've had a lot of people sort of, from UK, for instance, who don't know where to go and who don't know who to contact if they want to contribute any funds, and it's not clear. I think this is what I would suggest to the Diaspora MDC Alliance branches can actually clarify and make it clear, because time is not on our side. So if let's say per se, if every branch can start to look at clearly identifying individuals that people or the diasporans can contact, and then because there's quite a lot of people that are willing to donate their funds, but they don't know who to contact, and it's quite confusing. So I'll reiterate that if all the branches can start looking at who the specified individuals and sort of publish that through social media, and people can sort of engage toward that cause. Also, my second contribution is regarding sending remittances to Zimbabwe by the diasporans. Is obviously, one in every 2 or 4 diasporans send money back home weekly to relatives, friends for different reasons. And I would suggest each time you send money, you hammer it to the people back home to say you're sending this money, but the situation they are in is because of ZANU-PF's incompetence, and sort of highlight these issues that if the economy was good and it was looked after by competent people, we couldn't be sending money almost every week. So people need to hammer that every time they send money back home, to sort of remind them that they're in this situation because of ZANU-PF. But sometimes what I've seen in Zimbabwe, people get reluctant when the money comes in, and then they forget that not if the economy was functional, people will not be sending money that often. And the third point is regarding I know MDC is quite at the moment in terms of infiltration by ZANU-PF, but we should also look at influencing people at home, MD supporters. We also need to infiltrate ZANU-PF and find out what their game plan is. Because I remember when we spoke to Joseph Kalimbwe, if he was there, the other time when I asked the question about how did they deal with infiltration, he also mentioned that UPND, the youth, they were also infiltrating their opponents to get information and sort of strategize from that point. So we shouldn't worry too much about, if we say this, ZANU-PF is going to infiltrate, but we should also look at getting people to infiltrate ZANU-PF and get the information. So those are my contributions. But the main one that I need to stress is the first one about point of contact, because it's quite confusing. It's not made clear, and time is running out. I think this is what the MDC branches worldwide would need to sort of action now, so that people would be able to contact this, certain individuals for funds mobilization. Thank you. Bye.
So thank you so much for that, JT. So we will share our contacts again, but we're very visible on social media. But I do understand that sometimes people don't always get the opportunity to know where we are and how to get in contact. But we will tweet that. And please, for all of the participants here today, please do follow us if you don't already follow us at UK_MDCA, and we are going to share it again. But I wanted to welcome Luke Banda from Zambia. So he's been waiting a while, and to all of those that have requested the mic, I know it's taking a bit of a while, bear with us. But if I can ask you to unmute yourself, Luke, and to say hello, and just to tell us what role you played in the success of the Zambian elections. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Luke Banda. I'm one of the leaders here in for Zambian district. And probably to get your question right, leader, on what part you were actually asking for the non-profit? Sorry, my network is bad.
Yeah,
we're breaking.
Yeah, just to share what you did to support the success of UPND.
Okay, right. There are so many things to start with, a lot, and you see, like what my brother Joseph Kalimbwe is actually stressed. Actually, a lot of points, because we're like working hand in hand. Though by that time we didn't know each other like physically. We started to know each other after the inauguration. This is when we just I have to meet personally. But on my side as well, like what my brother Joseph Kalimbwe is actually stressed. I have relatives here in the eastern part of Zambia, like my uncles and aunties. They are there in eastern part of Zambia, and according to the record of Zambia, if you can check, you will understand that the eastern part of Zambia was actually a PF stronghold. And I might as well confess that my uncle personally was one of the PF members. So some of the things that we did, we started to engage, especially those in rural areas, like family. And the village kind of things, and taking advantage of those relationships that we have in rural areas. You know, our uncles and aunties, they're known, like I'm a Banda there. We can easily fuse into, our sister tribe, like the Vembas and others, the Chewas as well in eastern part. So what I personally did is, normally I assist my uncles to do this farming, subsistence farming that is actually practicing there. So at one time, a personal experience, I went into his bedroom and I saw the poster of Edgar Lungu, the former president of Zambia. And then I did not want to actually kind of, being hard for him and stuff. When I asked him, Uncle, tell me one thing, well, why is it you like this man so much? And then his response was like, no, you see, the last time this man gave me about 6 kgs and so 6 kgs of maize seed and salt. And I'm sure this is one of the reasons. And as well, you all know that people in rural areas, even if you give them a spoon or a fork or what, it can cost effort. We have seen it actually when Grace Mugabe, last time, she gave some small touches to the rural areas, and we all know what actually was the result of actually giving those things. So I started engaging my uncles as per village, our small village there. Said, okay, uncle, you understand that most of the times I sent you these monies for airtimes and those kind of things, and you can see that the rate is actually going down. I'm no longer sending you the money like I used to. Do you want to understand what actually is happening there? And then I sat down with my uncles and one of our chiefs there to share what I was actually experiencing in Lusaka. Per family, uncle, this is what is happening. You can get this kind of seed and salt, spoons and what from the PF government. But at the end of the day, this thing is not going to last you for years. Right now, where is the seed that is given you? You sow it and then you harvest it. Nothing's going to waste. If you really want to get into this kind of things, to work for you, to reach a situation whereby, and I reminded him that in the early 80s or 70s, they used to afford to buy their seed and fertilizers for themselves. And so we engaged with my uncle, said them, you can as well do the same thing that used to do in the 90s and 70s, whereby You're working on yourself as a farmer to buy your own seed and fertilizers. But this thing of waiting for the politicians, the other guys to come and give you salt and sugar, it's not going to reach us anyway. And I understand probably the socio-economic better than you do, Uncle. So you understand that this kind of thing is actually leading nowhere. So I'm sure it's up to you. You can vote for PF, but I'm telling you, after some years, this is going to be very, very difficult for even us to be coming here to be seeing you in rural areas. So I'm sure you understand this kind of African culture that we have, whereby if I am staying in town, the people in rural areas tend to listen better to the son or a daughter who is staying in town, as well as in particular, we have our brothers and sisters who are living in America, like in diaspora, okay, America, Australia, and England. People in Zimbabwe, even in Harare, and more in rural areas, they tend to listen better to a brother who is in diaspora than the one who is in Harare. I just want to break it down to the African kind of perspective, whereby why I managed to convince my own village in eastern province of Zambia to vote for the UPND. So for an instance, if I get a call from my uncle in Texas in America, I tend to listen to him better than my uncle whom I'm staying with in Harare. So what we did is that we broke it down to say, okay, we are guys who are in town. We are more listen better with the people who are staying in rural areas than some of our guys who are actually wailing in poverty there, but on our side at UPND. So the guys who are coming from town, they can influence better the people who are in rural areas, telling them what is really happening in Lusaka and on the ground, than letting our brothers who are actually wallowing in poverty with them to convince them to vote for the UPND. So this is how we broke it down. We went to the village kind of level where I'm related and influenced my uncles and aunties, teaching them and letting them know the truth. Actually, that is what happening on the ground, and in particular that was in Lusaka. So we went stages by stages, pushing. And I want you to remember that here in Zambia, the PF regime was actually suppressing the UPND. Every time you go, there were no zone areas, no go zone areas, whereby if you're UPND and they know you, their hooligans will come and attack you. So we decided to do it now on the village kind of level, where you are related, or your section where you come from. You influence your people, and then you spread the message. Particularly, that's what we did. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's over to Lovemore.
Hi, yeah, thank you. Right, the next speaker, I want to just kind of give her a surprise, but I prepared her yesterday. I told her that I will ask her to speak. She doesn't know what she's going to talk about, but I know she's got a lot to say. Carol, my MC, Carol, please prepare to speak. So the question I want to ask Carol regards to the status quo in Zimbabwe. The status quo in our country is that the diaspora, as a diaspora, we are relegated to fundraising. So how can we enhance the ability to fundraise here in the UK to help democratize Zimbabwe? Can you give us some tips on how to attract Zimbabweans in the UK to be involved or to contribute financially? We want to reach out. We want to construct a message that goes deep into their kitchens, their bedrooms, so that they can contribute to 2023, so that Zimbabwe for once can be a democracy. Carol's Manu.
Okay, Carol needs to ask for the mic. Can she request?
Carol, could you ask for the mic, please? Patricia, you can see Carol is written CAZ_.
Yes, she's not requesting. She needs to. There she is. So I'm going to invite you, Carol. So please accept. So we're just waiting for her to accept. The invite has been sent to her. Okay. Doesn't look like she's accepting yet. Okay, Carol, can you accept the invite? It should pop up and you just maybe we can go to someone next if Carol is having challenges.
If you've got someone on your list, could you ask the next person to respond, please? If they want me to repeat, I can repeat.
Yeah, so if we can go to Jeff Mashipe, if you have any comments that you'd like to make or questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free. I think Jeff is trying to connect as well. I can see connect there. When you're ready, please go ahead, Jeff. Right. Jeff has dropped off. So he's dropped off completely. So it could be that, he has challenges in connecting, as has Carol. She's not picked up the mic. So
Carol, she's just texting me. She wants to speak, but it is asking her to go to app info. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so I think she needs to do something on her phone that will enable her to. It could be that there's something that she needs to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So while we wait for Carol to come on, I just wanted to share some details because we had JT talking about the fact that he doesn't know how to contact the UK, and there could be a number of people on here that are wondering how to get in contact with us. So I will share a telephone number on which you can contact, and a member of the team will get back in contact with yourselves. So the telephone number is +44 79 07 00 3379. I'll repeat that. +44 79 07 00 3379. And I also wanted to share some of the ways in which people can help. And so you can get in contact with us and offer to adopt a polling agent. And so this is where you support that polling agent with all of their needs across the days that they will be at that polling agent. You can buy a smartphone, or you can donate an old smartphone, because we need to communicate. As you heard, Joseph was talking about WhatsApp, and not all people have access to a phone because it's quite expensive. And we know the situation in our country, that people don't have jobs, they have limited ability or opportunity to make an income. You can also make a donation if you go onto our national website, MDC Alliance Party.org, and we are going to tweet all of this information, and this information is also going to be on our Facebook to enable you to go and make a donation. You can also sign up to subscribe as a member on MDC Alliance Party.org. So there are so many options that you can take in order to support the cause. And I'll just give back to you, Lovemore, if there's anything that you want to share, while I just pick up the messages that I'm getting from the people here. And I'll try again to see if I can put Carol back on, if I can find her.
Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I think it's the same context, really, in terms of contributing to the election in 2023 in remote, as we are unable to vote. We are so far, and diaspora vote has not been given to us. For those who are on the side of history, you can remember that in 2008, the diaspora contributions did quite a great job in that election. There was quite a number of mobile phones and goods raised for constituencies back home. Currently, the MDC UK and Ireland has just started the twinning program. So we are twinned with, our branches are twinned with several constituencies back home, several cells and districts. This information will be availed to those who want to know as soon as possible, so that we can kickstart the twinning program, so that it helps the party in the campaigns for the 2023 election. This information will come very soon. Thank you. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to multitask. I've got people asking me questions in the DMs. I've got people sending me questions to WhatsApp. So it's, you know, who can I go to? So I'm just going to, Joseph is asking to speak, so I'm bringing him back in. I'm also bringing back Jeff. Mashike, please do accept. So there you are, Jeff. You can go ahead and speak now. I hope your mic is, you're able to connect. Please go ahead, Jeff. Right, he seems to be having problems. So we will go to, we have a plan. Can you go ahead, please, while I try to pick up the other speakers? If you can unmute yourself and go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks. Mine is a quick one. Can you hear me?
Yes, but there's so much noise in your background. I don't know if you're driving.
Yes, it's a quick one. That's why I'll just do a quick one. I wanted to say, maybe if you do another one of this one, can we have the national leaders so they know exactly what the diaspora is saying? Then they can connect with us afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I'm just going to take, we have a plan out. Okay. And I'll try and look for Big Smooch, who's meant to be speaking, who says he's here, but I can't see him or on here to add him on. So until I can see him, it's not possible for me to do that. So the joys of technology. There we go. I've got someone requesting. Okay, please do go ahead. I've just added you, Inomunda. I think we've got Carol now. So Carol, I can see you now. So I'm trying to add Carol on. Carol, if you can see anything from me, please just accept it. Okay, it doesn't look like it's working, Lovemore. So while I'm doing this, please continue speaking while I'm trying to add on Carol, because I think it's a bit tricky for her.
Okay. Patricia, could you please tell me if any hand raised on your side?
No, there's no hands raised. All of the three speakers that we are trying to get to speak can't speak for some reason. So Carol has made a request.
Carol says she has requested.
Yeah, I still can't pick her up. So if there's anyone else that would like to ask questions, please feel free to ask. I can't pick Carol up, but I can see her.
While we're waiting for the